And now let's do 3 Om together. Agnenatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
So let's go on with Bhagavad Gita. So I will use still the small Bhagavad Gita essentials. So you will find ideas in this book. And I will add some more experiences on my side, but the essentials are here, and the translation is our translation from Bhakti Marga. So in the first part, we were seeing Arjuna completely in depression, right? And I ask you to visualize this part of you which is feeling depressed, which is feeling bad, which has a big challenge to overcome. So Arjuna, remember, has to kill his family because these members of the family were bad. And he tried everything. Even Lord Krishna tried everything to help Arjuna and his 4 brothers. And they tried to negotiate with the enemy, which is the family. This is what is crazy. The enemy is the family, but nothing was possible. So this war could not be avoided. And I ask you to meditate and to see like this big thing coming in your life, this challenge, and be into that. Okay, so that to be confronted to your weakness. And in those moments, when we have a weakness moment, when something big is happening, like I don't know, someone dies in our family, we have someone has an accident and so on, and I knock in the wood near me, so that is not happening to us, but unfortunately in our life we have challenges. So those moments, let's say generally, let's not speak about us because I don't want to make you scared today. I started like this. Those moments, people suddenly say, wow, there is more than just my life. They wake up from their daily reality, work and food and whatever, pleasures, and they just realize there is maybe something more. And this is what happens to Arjuna. He tries by himself to find a solution, and at one moment he really feels he cannot, and then he surrenders to Lord Krishna. We will see in next chapter. We are still at chapter 1. So I encourage you to continue. If you take the book and read, to identify yourself to this part of you which is facing a challenge, and to see how at that moment when it's too much for us, we surrender because we feel we don't have choice. But we should not be pushed by life through difficult things to surrender. We should try to do it before. We should try to make an exercise of surrendering every day, to face our stubbornness, to face our mind, to face our ego. And this is what we will see today. So we were at the verses 2:13, page 15. You don't have to have it, the book, but if you have it, you can follow. And we did the first sloka in which Sanjaya, the foreseer, who is near the king, Dhritarashtra, is seeing what is happening on the field. And we said that he's explaining to the king what is happening. He sees Pandava's army, and he sees Duryodhana. And Duryodhana, I said last time that he represents this great pride that is born from the mind. So let's take a moment. And again, same way as we did with Arjuna, let's face ourselves. Let's face this pride we have, because we all have a mind, so for sure we have some seeds of pride, if not a great pride. And listen how beautifully Guruji is explaining here. Duryodhana represents this great pride that is born from the mind. When the mind is very active, one becomes proud of many things, proud of knowledge, proud of what one has. And just visualize yourself. When is the last time you have been very proud? And now let's go back to the first sloka of this second set of verses. Sanjaya says, O king, Duryodhana, seeing the Pandavas' army in military formation, approached his teacher Drona and said these words. So Duryodhana, when he sees the Pandavas' army, he goes directly to his teacher and he starts speaking. And let's see what he speaks. And this is the second sloka that I want you to pay full attention to in Sanskrit, because we do some small practice of Sanskrit as well. This is why we split everything in small, tiny parts. So I will just read this sloka in Sanskrit, number 3rd. Pashetam pandu putranam acharya mahatim chamum vyudam drupada putrena tava shishyena dimata. Pashetam pandu putranam acharya mahatim chamum vyudam drupada putrena tava shishyena dimata. Pashetam pandu putranam acharya mahatim chamum vyudam drupada putrena tava shishyena dimata. Duryodhana says, O master, behold this mighty army of the Pandavas led by the son of Drupada, who is your intelligent disciple. So when Duryodhana sees the army of the Pandavas, which is arranged in a very special formation, he feels anxious. He feels very nervous, even if he personally has a big army with him, because Lord Krishna asked him in Mahabharata just before in the previous parts of Mahabharata, Lord Krishna asked him to choose between him and the army, and Duryodhana chose the army. He wanted to have a lot of army. And even if the Pandavas are in lower number, right, because it's not the same here, but they have Krishna, Duryodhana starts feeling anxious. And now Guruji very well explains, anxiety appears when one is proud. Even if pride appears very strong on the outside, in reality it has a lot of weakness in it. Why does pride arise? Do you think it is out of strength? No. In reality, pride arises due to the weakness that one has inside. So let's visualize ourselves here, that this pride arises. And usually we think we are very confident. So how many times it happened to you? I can tell you it happened to me all the time when I was scared. It happened to me when I came from my previous guru here, and suddenly I was put in an empty space, because every time you go to another level of yourself, you have to let go of something. You have to go to zero. We very beautifully say shunya in Sanskrit. We have to attain that space in which you leave everything. Even if you had big knowledge before, even if you had great awards before, great titles, big titles. I was telling you I came to Bhakti Marga with a lot of titles, and I came here because I wanted to renounce to the titles and just find love and go into the space of love. And this weakness due to pride, so we first don't realize we are weak because we stay attached to this outer shell that we build, and school and the educational system and society is training us to have that, be proud, be strong, step on everyone, get the first prize, go into competition. This is how, even at work and everywhere, this is how we have been conditioned. And on the bhakti path, on the love devotional path, we have to leave all this. We have to come to the space of innocence inside. And that is a work on ourselves. So just see yourself in whichever way the pride appeared to you, and just realize that also this pride, it's an obstacle in connecting to others. If there are so many problems in the sanghas, so many problems in the groups, it's because of pride, because of ego, because of fear actually. The ego, this pride is a fear. So Guruji says it's weakness inside, because of this weakness, because we don't know who we are, we don't know where is our place, we don't know who we are in reality. So when pride arises, people think, yes, I'm very confident. No, it's mind that perceives pride as confidence. In reality, one is running away from something, from the opposite of pride, which is humility, says Guruji. And also Guruji says that when we start on the spiritual path, the pride sees all the good qualities that are inside, and the mind becomes anxious because we see all the good qualities that we still have to awaken in ourselves. They are there, but we have to use them, we have to cultivate them, we have to work on our land, this Kurukshetra, the war land. And you will see later, you will have another chapter, chapter 13, talking about the field of our body and about the consciousness, matter and spirit. And we'll talk about this more there. But just now be with yourself. And this is the death that we have to face. It's not another one. It is dying to this character that we built, to this pride, to all the negative things coming from me, jealousy, conflicts inside, attachments of all kinds, fear to lose, fears in all types of fears. And when Duryodhana runs to his teacher represents the attachment to the material, Dronacharya, and he represents the greed in man. So actually he goes and he sticks, Duryodhana, who is already the pride, sticks to attachment to the material. And then he praises Bhishma, we'll see, who represents the ego. I will not go into that because we need to reach that. I just want to end by another quote of Guruji saying, when you start on your spiritual path, you have a battle. You perceive all the negative qualities within more strongly. So if it happens to you, just relax right now. Let's give ourselves a lot of love. Because looking at these things in ourselves, they appear like big. And it's like, in everyday life, when you go to work, you raise your children, you enjoy things, you don't focus on that, so it seems you are more happy. But when you start working on yourself, sometimes it's like crossing hell. Sometimes you'll awaken a quality which has never been there before. But this is the purification that one goes through. This is the Kurukshetra that you go through, the Dharma Kshetra that you go through. So this battlefield, it's inside. Again, we remind what we were saying in the first explanation of the first sloka, that this war is inside, between our consciousness and mind and all the mind's negative tendencies and qualities that are not good to continue to have. So you uproot one by one all these qualities and transform them. You transform them until finally you have the love of God that stays, and that's realization to receive His grace, to manifest His love, and to beam His love. And that's the duty of each human being. So basically, let's start meditating on this, is that we have our human existence, we grow up, mind becomes more and more strong, we got attached to many things, we got so many attachments that we nourish the mind, we nourish all this. And actually, at one point, we have to work on that, to just make this distinction between mind and heart. And when we are doing things from the mind and from all these things, these tendencies in us, and when we are doing things from the space of love inside. And it's such a difference. It's such a difference. Because mind wants everything outside, wants recognition, wants attention, is that big fear that always has to be nourished, whereas this inner consciousness doesn't need anything. This love inside is always there. Visualize that in yourself, how loving you are, and increase that every day. Observe yourself, introspect. Being doing a big preparation to go back to the ashram, and then after to go to Asia, to India, to Cambodia. I could not go to the darshan in Holland. I had many requests to go, but sometimes I just feel I should not be everywhere, and I just wrote Guruji, it will be a little bit tough, because we never know. No, if Guruji doesn't tell us, we have to follow our intuition and to see when we have to be there for people. We are always the people in the background talking to other people. When Guruji cannot attend, he sends us. And I had a guest from Belgium who is going through a process inside, and it's so amazing that she could come to my house. And I invited her to go to the cinema, because I have a brand new cinema here, 3D cinema. There is an amazing movie right now. If you did not see it, it's called Wakanda Forever. I will even give you ideas of movies you can see in 3D. It's just amazing. It's so beautifully made. And that was just an excuse to just meet together and be together. And during the movie, I was thinking, wow, Guruji, I'm not at the darshan in Holland. And then I just forgot it. I was going into the movie, which is really amazing. They did a nice work. It really brings us in another space. And if you see it in 3D, you really feel like you're flying. It's so beautiful. And at one point of the movie, suddenly I was watching actually the big screen. And inside, I'm seeing Guruji giving me the darshan from Holland. He was so present. During several minutes, he just stayed there. And I can say I really had such a strong connection. I had a darshan at distance, through all, because I was in such a state of 3D things. Because I saw the movie before in 3D. This was just in normal. And it's such an extension of consciousness, expansion. And that moment, as Guruji, came in. And I just felt this beautiful darshan going on there, and I was sure it was amazing. So you see, if you are going into that loving space, into that silence inside, you are not worried where you are right now, why you are not in the ashram, why you are not in future pilgrimage, why you are not here and there. We cannot be everywhere. Just relax. He will come to search for you and see you wherever you are. This is what Lord Krishna says, just focus on me. I will always be there when you need me. Don't worry. I jump to chapter 18 because this is where the beauty of this connection is really at the maximum. But where you are, just relax. Work on yourself. See this difference between your dramas, between this Arjuna in you crying, and between all the other part when you are too strong and too proud and don't want anyone to teach you anything, and you are in that space of in which you don't have any connection. Actually, you cannot establish connection being too full of mind. Actually, mind takes all the place. And just work on that, and you will see how beautifully this space of love will open in you. and you will get a connection with the Lord, with the Guru, wherever he is. You don't have to struggle anymore, and he will be there for you. Let's visualize that. Let's connect to that and stay into a meditative space. And set your intention again right now, because we will go directly into the Lingam blessings. Today we had to do some inner turning, inner purification together through Bhagavad Gita Yagna. It's a fire. This book is a fire. Have it and start reading a sloka every day. That is the best you can do for yourself. Set the intention. If you don't have it, set the intention to study a little bit, to do 5 minutes every day of Bhagavad Gita sloka, 1 sloka per day with the commentary of Guruji. It's good if you can do it. Wonderful. Relax right now again. Inhale. Exhale, go into your heart. Let go. And prepare yourself for the Lingam blessings. Just take a comfortable position, meditative, walk your back straight. Relax, let go.
Recording stopped.